Hello and welcome to another episode of Elvis Explores the Unexplained. I'm Elvis, coming from you from another baseball field, except this time it's not in Snowflake, California, Arizona, but it's in Tulum, Mexico. Okay, here we go. Take 2. I just recorded probably 20 minutes of me speaking about everything I want to talk about. Now look at the video, and some 7 minutes into it, the audio just there's some weird noise. I might include it in this video too. The last 1.5 years of my life has been probably the craziest time of my whole life. Lots of ups and downs, but I'm super grateful for everything I experienced. Now I ended up in Tulum, Mexico this year, and especially if you're planning on coming here for a longer period of time, make sure you stick till the end of the video. I'm not going to be talking about a single paranormal event that might have happened here, but more about my whole experience of being here and what other people told me. So there's quite a bit of things to unpack there. Now I'm going to talk about what happened to me and how I came to the Americas in a podcast episode once I restart my podcast in the next few months. So to keep it short, I was living in Sweden, quite up north. I fell in love with this girl in San Diego, and at the same time I also didn't want to be stuck in one place and just working a job that pays well but doesn't fulfill me that much. So in August last year, 2023, I decided that's it. I gave up my job, my car, my place, sold my guitars, and I went to San Diego. Now things didn't end up going the way I planned it at all over there, but yeah, that's good. It was supposed to happen like that. And I made a connection. I got a good friend in San Diego who ended up being from Tulum. And before I get any further, very early on during my stay in San Diego, I met a guest I had on my podcast, Leilani, who gave me, she continued the psychic reading she gave me on my podcast. And one of the things she told me is that I'm going to end up in Tulum, Mexico, which until early this year I didn't want to come here. But the universe obviously had very different plans for me. So it made a few things happen. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to Mexico. And it made sense for me to come here because the only connection I had in Mexico was in Tulum, and there's lots of digital nomads and people doing similar stuff to what I do over here. So it just made sense to come here. Things aligned. I made the trip. And before I came here, there was this one interesting thing that happened to me. I had this dream, and this was a few days before I looked at Google Maps and pictures of what Tulum actually looks like, including the Mayan ruins over here. So I had this dream where there was some old ruins, very light grey color, scattered all over. There was some Czech tourists walking around. I was walking around the ruins, just checking them out. And then a day or two later, I looked at what the ruins over here in Tulum look like, and it was very similar to what I saw in the dream. Lots of the walls were down, and the color was pretty much same as in the dream. Lots of tourists as well. So it was quite interesting. Then when I got here, I was quite disappointed, to be fair. I still don't really like this place, and to summarize, to explain properly, what ancient man and nature built over here is amazing, but what modern man built over here, it sucks. So the nature over here, the jungle, the beaches, the Mayan ruins, they're all amazing. There's a very special energy that I'm going to be talking about here. But the town itself, which is a few miles away from the beachfront, it's been built very rapidly over the last few decades, and I don't like it. Things don't work properly over here. At least once a week there's a blackout, the internet's not working, you don't have running water many times. So lots of things that I'm not a big fan of, let's just say. But what I want to focus on in this video is the strange energy of this place and what it does to people, including myself. So I got here and I was not happy about being here at all. And that's the first thing you need to know about this place. If you resist what you experience over here, this place is gonna make you suffer quite a bit. So when I was resisting at the beginning and even later during the trip, during my stay here, it wasn't good. I must say that my stay over here, it really feels like a psychedelic trip that lasts for months. It's same with psychedelic trips. If you resist the experience, you're gonna have a bad trip. If you lean into it, you go with the experience. Same goes also for alien abduction cases, which is quite interesting, whether you believe in them or not. That's what people report. So when I was resisting, things didn't go well for me at all. But when I aligned myself with what I'm supposed to do, when I, in woo terms, increased my vibration, my frequency, lots of things started happening. I remember one of the big things that I managed over here was to put everything that I want to do, that I'm interested in, that I'm supposed to do over here, put them into one system, and how each of these parts, because you guys know I'm interested in many things, and I don't want to just focus on one thing at a time like I did in the past. So I managed to figure it all out, put it all together. I was like, man, that's a big deal. Kind of like when in 2017 I figured out what's the purpose of my life. This is more like how do I accomplish my purpose of being here. So there was a big thing and I was quite excited about it. And that week just things started going so well. It was very similar also the last couple of weeks. I also had some realizations. One of the big things was that I have to just go with the flow. You know, whatever happens, I'm gonna be fine. Because over the last year, I was in so many situations where I could have ended up in a really bad place on the street or whatever. But something always, helped me out. Whether it was, some finances that I got from somewhere, or got a place to stay and everything. I'm telling you, it was a crazy year and a half. But yeah, what an experience. So I realized that I just need to go with the flow. Whatever happens, I'm gonna be fine. And whatever the universe throws at me, I'm gonna deal with it, no matter how hard, difficult it might be. And boom, things align again, and I'm on my way out of Mexico. This is actually my last day here in Tulum as I'm filming this. So after speaking to a lot of people over here, especially the good people, that genuinely good people who have great hearts and who also have a specific purpose in this life and are doing good. As when I was talking to them, they also confirmed that this place, it brings up a lot of your shadows, so that you just have to deal with it. Things you haven't dealt with or you've been suppressing for years, it'll come up over here, and it can be tough, but it's what you need. It was the same with my case. And I think that was a big reason, if not the reason, why the universe redirected me to Tulum. And like I say, it was necessary. Difficult but necessary. And so this place definitely it definitely accelerates one's spiritual growth, and it also helps you manifest things quicker. Now the problem is that a lot of people come here seeking healing, and so a lot of people are, for lack of better terms, broken, and there's not enough genuine healers over here. You're gonna find every other person is some kind of a healer, but they also, a lot of it is just LA type superficial spirituality with lots of ego, and you won't find genuine ayahuasqueros or people who lived in the Amazonian rainforest for years, just eating very basic foods like plantains and God knows what else, who really connect with the medicine. You just won't find it over here. If you want something like that, you really have to go deeper into the jungle. So that's a bit of a downside. There's also people who might even hurt you, So if you're coming here for that kind of reason, you gotta be careful. There are some really good people, and somehow wherever I go, I meet really amazing good people. Like when I was here, I expanded the Terra's Friends network, which you can find on terravitality.com, which is a network of other healers and trainers and just straight up amazing people that I know personally. I would put a hand in the fire for them. There are definitely some good people over here, and you can find them in the network. Now, as I was saying, this place does bring up all your shadows, and it just accelerates your growth, which is kind of to be expected, because a lot of the places where you have ancient sites, whether it's pyramids in Giza, Stonehenge, lots of other places, they were built specifically on a certain place, and Tulum is no exception. The ruins here in Tulum, they were my favorite place that I've been to here. The energy is very calm over there, and it's a great place. They're very beautiful. It's one of the few ones that are built right at the beachfront, and they're also the way they are built. Some of the buildings there, they are aligned astronomically with the solstices, the way they face the sun as it rises during solstices. And there are also some windows that with which you can track the path of Venus on the sky. So these kind of places, they were usually built on places with a special kind of energy that have supposedly ley lines going through them. And one thing that really clicked for me was when a friend told me that in Tulum, the bedrock and this whole area is made of limestone, and underneath it you have the cenotes, which is underground lakes and rivers, caves. It's hundreds of miles. They're all interconnected. There are spots where you can enter them, the cenotes, and for the most part you have to pay for entrance, and people go hang out there, go into the water, and they're really nice. According to the Mayas, they were the entrance into the underground, and supposedly it's not good to go there after sunset. That's what they say. Now, when I heard about the limestone, I was like, that's so interesting, because as you might or might not know, the Great Pyramids, they used limestone to build the pyramids. And then also underneath the pyramids, there's also underground water. Same as it was on the Wardenclyffe Tower that Tesla built. Nikola Tesla, this is. Now, limestone is very porous, so you can get water going through it, and it's also piezoelectric. That means if you put pressure on the stone, it creates an electric current. And if you know something about places that have some kind of activity going there, some anomalies. There's something off with the electromagnetism or the magnetic field in those places. And they're also usually the places where the ancient people built something there. So perhaps this is one of the reasons why this place has such a different energy. To give an example, when I was living in Sweden, in the Swedish Lapland, right at the coast, the east coast, the energy over there is totally different. It's very calm to a point it's almost boring, but it's still very beautiful, and it has its own charm with the midnight sun during summer and the endless forest, where it's so different from Tulum. Same with California and San Diego. It has very different energy from Tulum. So this is, if you are into spirituality, you have a bigger, greater purpose in life, and you come here for a longer period of time, then yeah, you're probably going to experience something like that over here. Now, people who just come here to party or go on all these sex parties in the jungle or do drugs, you're probably not going to experience anything like this. Now, when it comes to other things that happen over here, I haven't found that much any interesting UFO cases, although I'll get back to the aliens. There's a big belief in Alushes over here, which are small mischievous creatures living in the forest, or more like spirits. Someone told me that they heard one of those on the outside of the tent, and had a very distinct way of breathing, and who knows, I'm not saying that's the case, but people generally believe them. They may have altars for them, where they sacrifice something to them to keep them at bay, so they don't do silly things or disruptive things. Now, what's interesting about this belief is how similar it is to other myths and legends from other places, whether it's leprechauns and just small mischievous creatures in forests or spirits. Perhaps it's the same phenomena that just has different names, but presenting itself all over the planet. Who knows? Now, when it comes to UFOs, aliens, I heard about some UFO sightings, but I haven't found anything that would stand out. But I have met two people who have had supposedly some kind of an encounter. It's not the typical, abduction. One friend, he had an encounter which was, he didn't see them physically. It was just in his mind when he was awake. This is at night. They wanted to come after him, for him. And the strange thing is that obviously I can tell that he's not lying, and there was lots of fear in him. He was genuinely scared of this thing that happened to him. So he's so frightened of this to the point that it influences his daily activities. And there was another person who, I might talk more about this in some other episode, who actually saw a being in the middle of the night. But in general, it's mostly the energy of this place that really stood out to me over here, and that's why I decided to make a video about it. It sure helped me, and even though it was like up and down all the time over here, I'm not a big fan of the town. I know the universe guided me to this place for a reason, and I'm grateful for that. Now I'm just looking forward to what's gonna happen next, and this is the last day of me being here in Tulum. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out some of the other ones that I made, and I'll see you in the next one.